Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to a very special show on the Dida Show episode. I actually traveled today to West Haven, which is actually my second home these days. It's like how do you call it? A coincidence?
A beautiful coincidence. Yeah.
And also I'm here, the reason I'm here today is because I'm very happy to have one of the best jazz singers around that very amazingly got awarded for it last year and won the Grammys for Best Jazz Vocal Album of the year, 2024.
It's wild.
Really amazing. And today we're doing the episode with Nicole Zuraitis. Nicole, say hello.
Ooh, hello.
So yes, it's kind of rare that I go out of the radio station to have someone.
Well, I'm a huge fan of yours for years.
Really?
Years.
What
years.
are you talking about?
I remember moving to New York City, and then I think it was like 2011. Someone was like, "Oh, you really got to check out Dida. She's an incredible, songwriter, composer, guitar player, singer." And I would come see your show sometimes, but never say hi because I was too nervous.
I'm shocked. What shows?
Well, the ones that ones all around in the city.
Wow.
I kid you not.
I'm shocked.
And then I was like, maybe one day we'll be friends, and now we are. That's awesome.
This is so amazing. Well, I'm your fan from afar, and I really appreciated all the work you've been doing in the last few years. It's amazing to see.
Thank you.
And I am so happy that you won a Grammy for it. It kind of like gives hope for like being, out there and doing your thing for many years, and then you get an award.
I mean, I just said, so if I saw you maybe 2011, I moved back to the city in 2009.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I just knew that I liked to sing, and I felt like a fake jazz singer, because I didn't have the language yet.
Yeah.
And I would go to see jam shows like yours and go to Smalls, and I would go to all these different jam sessions, but I would never sit in because I would think, who am I to even attempt this incredible art form? And so for many, many years, I just kind of sat in the shadows with this horrible self-doubt of like, who am I to sing this music, this Black American music?
Wow.
And
what do you feel flipped it for you? Like, what made you start trying to participate?
When I was about to be 30, Dan Pungach is now my husband, but at the time he was just my friend, and he was in my band, and he had won the Herb Alpert Young Jazz Composers Award twice.
Yeah.
And
you guys have a really thing with like prizes.
Well, that's the thing. I never won anything in my whole life.
Prize.
I never won anything.
Okay, so Dan won.
That's why it's the weird.
Yeah.
That's why it's absolutely bananas. And so at 29 years old, he's like, Nicole, you just got back from India. You wrote this song to The Hive. Why don't you submit it to Herb Alpert? And I said, they're never going to take my music. I'm not a jazz singer, right? Everyone tells me that. They tell me that. They tell me these things.
Yeah.
And so I submitted, and then I got one of the awards, and I was like, oh, so if you don't put yourself out there, you can't win. It's like the lotto. If you don't, you can't win if you don't play. And now I'm definitely not telling people to gamble.
Yeah.
But you really cannot win if you do not play. And so that's at almost 30 years old. I was like, okay, so if you put yourself out there, then at least you're in the game. And if you are not putting yourself out there, then you have already lost. And so that was huge, huge for me. So I started to just apply for things, and, I went and finally, like at 34 years old or 33, applied for the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Competition.
Wow.
And I love this story because I applied the year before, didn't get in. The year before, didn't get in. And then the third year I applied, I get a phone call. Hi, this is the head of the Sarah Vaughan International Jazz Competition. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's my big break. I can't believe it. He goes, you were not one of the top 5 finalists of the Sarah Vaughan. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that they were calling people.
Yeah, why did they
to let
call
them
you?
know that they are not finalists? But thank you. He's like, however, one of the top 5 finalists dropped out. And so
you're in.
And honestly, like, you were not my top choice, but I hope you proved me wrong. And
whoa,
and
who's that?
Anyone
Who's
who's ever done
famous?
it knows who it is. Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of stuff has motivated me for many, many years.
Who was in the competition? Who are the other four?
That year, I think that was the year after Jasmia had won. I think it was is Ariana Nykrug won. And there were some other great musicians. And honestly, I'm really bad with names and remembering.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's long COVID because I have
Yeah.
long COVID, but like I really cannot remember anything at all ever, except what I really need to do at the moment.
Right.
Which is concerning, and maybe I should like drink ginseng and ginkgo or whatever. But yeah, I have no clue who the other people were, but they were
I'm
amazing and
very
really
like you.
talented.
I have to tell you, I have the radio show, and I bring people that like you, that I know from the scene for years.
We have no clue.
And they're like, oh yeah, we went to school together. And I'm like, really? I have no idea that we had like anything.
A lot of it could be like childhood trauma, like blocking all the
Right.
things. You know what I mean? Like I just block everything.
Yeah.
And oh God, but that's the long-winded version of being like, why did you stop? How did you start
so you
playing
actually
the
think
jazz?
like competitions and stuff made you like work towards getting better?
Yeah, well, yes and no. Competitions just made me feel validated because I do not have the ability to validate myself.
Right.
I've never been confident. I don't have self-esteem.
Yeah.
I've never been able to say,
Wow, but I
you are
feel like
worthy.
you have it now.
It's better.
Yeah.
At almost 40 years old, it's better.
Yeah.
At least now I can like feel vindicated. I can feel like I am worthy of an accolade.
Yeah.
But growing up until I was like 38, I was like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
So making the album that won the Grammy changed a lot for you.
It did. I think.
Let's talk about that. First of all, I just want to say that today is a special for the Grammys because an hour ago they announced who is nominated for this year's Grammy, and you and Dan got 2 nominations. That's
sorry for the laugh.
so
It's just
exciting.
It's absolutely bananas.
That's the best news ever. Did you expect it?
No. I worked for it. I always work for it, and we can talk about that.
Yeah.
But, did I expect? Never.
And
Because-
last year, I want to talk more about last year because it's more of like something I feel like you worked on so much.
I would love to talk about
And it
that.
was the first time. Now we're like second time having nominated, like less exciting. It's exciting, but So let's talk about last year's.
Okay.
I want to hear about the process of making the record, and then because probably then you didn't even have any like Grammys in mind. Or
I
you
would be
did?
lying. I would be lying if I so
Okay, that's interesting. So
Yes.
when you made the record, you're like, I'm going to make a record that will be nominated for the Grammys.
it's not that I thought it was worthy. It's
Yeah.
that I set a goal.
Yeah.
And that was only due to the fact that I had just gotten what I call my panic MBA,
Yeah.
a Master's of Business,
Yeah. You got a master's in business?
during the pandemic.
Oh my God.
Which is so ridiculous. And like, I should have gotten a Master's of Veterinary Science or something,
Yeah.
or like be like a zoologist. Like
Yeah.
that's something I'm actually interested in. Like no
Yeah.
offense, but
What made you do business?
it was the fastest master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
and because of COVID, I did not have to do like the GRE.
Right.
I don't need to lie,
Yeah.
like that's why I did it. I had just won a vocal competition. There it is again.
Why did you need like a master's all of a sudden?
Because I felt fear during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if we will ever recover from this. My husband is a full-time musician. I do not come from wealth.
Yeah.
I do not have rich parents who
Yeah.
are going to bail me out.
Yeah.
It's like he's a drummer and I am a singer.
Yeah.
And if I do not think about what's coming after the global pandemic, I don't know what's going to happen to
Yeah.
us. So I was like, I heard that in order to work at a university, you need a master's degree. And I don't want to get a master's of music because I'm already
Right.
suffering enough. Haven't I suffered enough?
Exactly.
So I was like, what's the fastest? And so I took this prize money that I had won
Yeah.
through another vocal competition, the American Traditions competition,
Yeah.
and put it directly into getting my master's. So this is all like a roundabout way of me saying that I get my MBA. I suffer through that. I'm a terrible student. I really think that I'm neurodivergent. Like it's impossible for me to do school, to read, to do things I'm not interested in.
Yeah.
But I finished, and my main takeaway was I never have had goals.
Yeah.
I never had time-sensitive goals
Yeah.
ever. So I finished the master's, and I'm like, well, that's that. And then my friend Steve McShay,
Yeah.
who also has an MBA, but like a real one.
Yeah.
Mine was real. Like, it's an accredited university. Like, I did the thing. It's real. I got the degree.
Yes.
But he said, well, what about for you, Nicole? Did you do a business plan for you? You did one for yourself as an entrepreneurial owning a venue. You did one for yourself as an entrepreneur experiencing cryptocurrency or whatever we did as our group project.
Yeah.
But he's like, you didn't do one for you.
Yeah. Okay, so you're in business school and you're doing a business plan for yourself.
But I didn't.
Yeah. So after your friend told you, do it for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I don't know if I can put the things that I want into a business plan because they're really hard to achieve.
Right.
Because so much of the music business is like hope or luck and then he goes, no, if you put a time-sensitive goal onto all of your, if you put objectives that are time-sensitive, you at least can see where you are. And then you also have to put a list of who is going to achieve each objective. And then what are your assets? What are your liabilities? Who is on your team? Who isn't on your team? And so he said, in your top 10 things, what are your main objectives? And I had the audacity to write, I'd like to be nominated for a Grammy for my next album that I'm doing with Christian McBride. Yeah.
You already knew you're doing with Christian?
Yes.
I want to hear how that happened.
So that is a really cool story. After the Sarah Vaughan competition, I didn't win. I placed, but didn't win. Went right back to singing background music at the Red Eye Grill across from Carnegie Hall.
Yeah.
And
It's doing.
it is okay.
Yeah.
I'm terrified that it's doing.
No, I see.
Oh
the
man,
little waves.
you always have to doubt the husband, even though
Yeah.
he's a genius. So I went right back to playing the piano across from Carnegie Hall, and one day, 6 months later, I'm playing Night in Tunisia terribly. It's slammed. No one's listening. And then I look up, and there's Christian McBride just standing right there. And he goes, I recognize you. How do I know you? I said, I did the Sarah Vaughan competition. He's like, oh, yeah. You sound great. Says, I'm doing an event at the National Museum of Harlem.
Yeah.
Come on up. Came up and befriended him. And then for about 6 years, all through the pandemic as well, he was just my friend. We would have dinner every once in a while.
Wow.
Yep. And I never asked him for anything ever. And that, I think, is key, because why would I ask him for something if I didn't have anything to offer? And a lot of that was me doubting myself, which is kind of the theme, right?
Yeah.
But then after I got my MBA, I said, well, my goal would be to make a record with him. Why don't I just write it down? And then why don't I just say to him, hey, you always said you wanted to make music with me. Will you produce my album? And he was like, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it's all just because I had like the nerve to write down things that seemed like impossible. And so I have all these impossible goals.
Do you have that list?
I do.
Wow. You should, you can have a later career like being a life coach.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Maybe.
No, seriously, making someone like write down what they want without like any holding back is a big deal.
I think that my friend McShay, honestly, like, I hope that he hears this interview, because if he hadn't made me done that, I don't think I would have achieved half of the things, because he was like, why do you have an MBA if you're not actually using the tools?
Right.
So he enforced, he's like, people dream even in business. Why can't you be a dreamer and do music? You
have to. Wait, so then, okay, on the list we have making a record with Christian McBride and being nominated for the Grammys.
Grammy nomination. I also had...
I want to know the 10 things.
Find a manager or an agent, because I was just completely by myself.
What time of the process did you find?
During my nomination.
Okay, so once you had to be nominated first, and then you found someone.
Yeah, because then people were like, okay, maybe we can, work with her.
Same people you were in touch with before, or it was new?
I had always wanted to work with Be Natural.
Yeah.
And they came to see me January of 2024. And then they were like, wow, yeah, that's really great. And
Perfect.
then my manager, Anna, came after another manager that I was chatting with, was like, I really just don't have time for you. And I said, I understand. That's no harm. And she was like, I've always wanted to be your manager besides being your friend. And so she came through.
A friend started managing you?
Yep.
You were her first person she manages?
She also manages another artist. However, she was a performing arts. She ran a performing arts center for many years, and I knew her from performing there.
Right.
So she had hired me a couple of times, and she'd been following my career.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's like kind and efficient and just a good head on her shoulders. So I was like, all right, you know, because I was doing everything by myself.
Yeah.
Dan and I did everything soup to nuts. We grassroots fundraised. We booked the tours. We advanced the tours. We wrote the music. We arranged, you know, we came up with the concepts, the publicity, the you know, everything. You know, it was bananas. So that was on the list.
I have to understand still how. Okay, let's more on the list now, because I want to know how you make a record and hope that it will be nominated, and then how it's actually getting nominated.
Yeah, that's kind of like.
Did you have to do some work specifically from like getting people to know that you made a record and that you want to be nominated?
Yes. So for me, it was like timing. You know, we actually were nominated in 2018 for an arrangement that we did of Jolene, Dan and I.
That's cool.
And that
Put
nomination,
you on the radar?
it put me on the radar, but also we did not campaign at all. And I'll talk about campaigning in a second, but we were just nominated because within certain things at the Grammys, there are committees, and the committees can bring up things that are worthy because they're the top people in the class.
Yeah.
And I've never been on a committee, neither has Dan.
Yeah.
And when we were nominated, we were like, this is a miracle. But then nobody told us that you are supposed to have a publicist, and
right.
nobody.
I heard recently that like many people do a campaign with a publicist like 3 months around when people vote at the Grammys.
I have never done that.
Yeah.
But after we were nominated,
Yeah.
the first time, nobody even said you should at least have a publicist now.
Yeah.
So I brought my mom to the red carpet, and Dan brought his brother, and we went at the same time as like Miley Cyrus. And I remember leaving that situation because, you know, we were still independent artists then, and being really mad and saying, why didn't anybody tell me how this process works? And so I was like, I will get back there and I will do it right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I don't need to gatekeep any of these things.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, I had Outside In, and Outside In had Lydia Liebman doing the publicity for my record.
Yeah.
But I also went steps ahead of that. I booked tours based around my record, even though I was an independent artist at that point. It was my 6th album.
When was the record out during the year?
July 2023.
Okay, so it's like a few months before.
Exactly.
Were you thinking about that? Like,
oh, yeah.
July is a great time to do it because then they have 4 months to do it?
July for me was like a terrible time to release because I did it the week after 4th of July.
Yeah.
And like no one was in the office.
Right. It's everyone.
So all of my like, and then I had also booked a day of activism and a fundraiser.
Yeah.
That coincided with my album release for Save the Sound.
And you had Lydia as a publicist.
Right, but she doesn't do tour support and she doesn't do activism, unless you have her on retainer.
Yeah.
So, you know, she was like, Nicole, like, I'm doing my job. I can't do this other stuff. So I added all these other pieces, and I got myself press for the fundraiser. And but then it was the freaking weekend of 4th of July. And so I was like, what was I thinking? Like, I think I'm so, I'm really like changing. No, I didn't really think things through. So.
But you picked July because of the timing with the Grammys?
Because I knew that Lydia would start to get things rolling in August and September and October.
And
because
that's
I've been
the best
watching.
time before the Grammys.
I mean, it's not the best time. I think Samara she's dropping her record now. Like Jasmia's dropping her record now.
So that's better?
It doesn't really matter. But for an independent artist, for me, I was saying, I think that closer to Grammy voting matters because I'm not top of mind. I'm not the chosen child.
Right.
I'm not just going to get a cover of Downbeat. I'm definitely not going to get a feature in blank because I'm not the chosen one, right? Jazz has chosen people.
Right.
And they choose who are the kings and queens. And the rest of us, the 99% of us, are crawling towards the kingdom and we're going, can we please come in, sir? May we have some more? And they're like, no, these are our chosen people.
Right.
And so I was like, if I want to even compete, I have to at least
time it in a like
time it
make
so that
space
people
from,
are seeing me. So I mean,
right. Was it on a label?
it was. I mean, Outside In is an amazing boutique
Yeah.
label, but the artist gives the product. We still own the master,
Right.
which is so.
So it's more like a distribution deal.
Yeah, and they
like
do
La
a wonderful job.
Reserve or
Exactly.
yeah, those are great labels.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
like I pay for the publicity,
Right. Right.
and then they distribute it,
Yeah.
and I still own the master. And I think that is really empowering.
Yeah. Did you since doing that consider going on a bigger label or something different deal, or that's the
No, I will only if the deal involves like $100,000 worth of marketing.
Wow.
That they think that they can blow me up
Yeah.
because I don't need a loan
Yeah.
from a label that I have to pay back. I can grassroots fundraise it.
Yeah.
I can do grants. I can find people who will invest in my career.
Yeah.
I don't need a loan. What I need is for the label to do their job.
Yeah.
And the label's job is to get it to as many people as humanly
Right.
possible.
And you don't think the big labels really do it?
I haven't found one that I think could do it for me, which
Right.
they would probably call a developing artist, which is
Right.
still so ridiculous to me, but also I understand, right?
Mhm.
I'm almost 40 years old. I don't have a huge TikTok following. I think that I'm going to thrive the most as a songwriter
Yeah.
behind the scenes and
Mhm.
as a producer. But I also believe that I think that I could be a household name if a label was like, you know what? We can put a lot of money into her.
Yeah.
I think we can do it. I think she's proven herself now that she's been nominated for a Grammy 4 times.
Yeah.
But like, maybe not. Maybe they don't like the fact that I'm not afraid to say, I don't need your loan. I need you to break me.
Right.
That's what I need. I need
Yeah.
you to break me.
yeah.
Because I've already done everything I possibly can. I make the music. I put it out. I even get my peers to acknowledge it. But
Yeah.
if you don't decide that you're going to put money into like helping
Right.
me grow, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I'll probably get burnt at the stake for saying that. But I believe it.
Yeah. Okay, but I want to go back. So wait. We're talking about you're telling Kristen McBride, let's make a record.
Okay.
How do you go about the decisions about what kind of record it will be? And also, how was the Grammy involved in that, except of like since you wrote it down to like making the record? Like, did it change any of the way you went about it, the people you chose? Not in a commercial, annoying way, but like,
Right.
did it make you, I don't know, commit more to it? Whatever it is, like,
Yeah.
how did it shape the way you addressed the whole project?
That's a beautiful question because yes and no.
Okay.
You know, I wrote all the music and I arranged all the music. However,
You knew, like, for sure you're going to make it original music?
no, because I had given him about 25 songs.
Which are
couple
some original
covers.
covers. Okay.
I also gave to Al Pryor.
Yeah.
Like before I even approached Christian, I gave to Al Pryor some
Yeah.
songs.
What happened
And
when-
Al was like, he gave a wonderful advice.
Let's say who Al Pryor is for people who don't know.
Okay.
You say, because I kind of briefly know him, that he made Cecile records with Cecile, and he's like Mac Avenue Records.
He used to be A&R for Mac Avenue. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He is like a legend, I think, in jazz.
Yeah.
And a very kind and fantastic soul. And
How do you know him?
I had a woman, Jill, that I was working with for many years.
Mhm.
She was like helping me through my career, Jill
Yeah.
Amaral. And
Helping
knew
you with what?
she was trying to like get me gigs or like
Ah.
she'd be like, I'm your manager, and she
Yeah.
would, you know.
Okay,
but
that's nice.
I felt bad for her because what does she have to manage? Like I didn't have
Yeah.
anything to offer yet, and that's the thing about management and booking agents is that if you don't have something that they can make money on, it's just business.
Right.
And so she gave me a lot of gifts for many years of just like being like, I believe in you, and then
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, but nothing's happening, and she's like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
But she introduced me to Al, and so
Okay.
that was a huge gift, and I'm really
And
grateful to her.
what did he do? So I and other people know I know.
So for
he's worked
him,
with Cecile.
his job, the reason I put him as associate producer is I sent him the music before I
Yeah.
even approached Christian with the music and said, what do you think about all these tunes?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yes, definitely. This cover just sounds like the original. So like nothing's, it was great advice.
Yeah.
And so that was great. And then I, brought on Christian, and then I also brought on Kabir Sego.
Who's Kabir?
Kabir is an amazing producer,
Mm-hmm.
composer. He has books.
Yeah.
He's in the United States like
Yeah.
Navy.
I have to just do a tiny note. From someone you're in, like, describing yourself that you didn't have confidence to, like, sending 25 songs to Christopher McBride and Al and the other person you just mentioned. What was that kick that you got? It's from, like, writing down what you want to happen and saying, okay, I'm going to try my best?
There's something to be said for realizing that you have nothing left to lose.
Yeah. And what do you think made you feel that? Like, I don't know, getting to be 38 or something, 37?
Yeah, coming out of the pandemic,
Yeah.
gaining 50 pounds
Yeah.
with long COVID. I still have long COVID. I still
Really?
have a messed up sense of smell and taste.
Yo.
I still have brain fog.
Long COVID is like forever?
I still can't come near an onion or
Oh my
or peanut
God.
butter or an egg. Like, all that stuff makes me want to vomit, and it was really hard. And then, you know, coming out of it and just being like, okay, I'm making all these things. Does anybody care? And having people be like, no, we don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have nothing left to lose. I've literally
So
like,
you
I'm
started
gonna
hitting up the people you knew and say, hey, this
Literally.
is what I'm doing. What do you think?
yeah. I said I think I have a pretty strong concept. I think I wrote some pretty strong songs. And
During the pandemic?
yeah, during the pandemic, I also recycled songs from before.
Perfect.
Like Burn, the song.
Yeah.
That was the
I
first.
listened today on the train. It's good.
That song is like one of my least favorite songs that I ever wrote, ever. But it used to be a ballad. And
Yeah.
after we went through all these rigmarole with choosing
Yeah.
tunes, you know, I realized I don't have a fast song, and Christian McBride is playing the bass. What is wrong with me? I got to write a fast freaking song.
Yeah.
And I was like, the recording's next week. Opened up my arsenal, found a song I wrote called If Only for Today, revamped it, added a bar of 3, and next thing you know, I got a fast song. And it's a pain in the butt. This song is like, as a songwriter, I'm like, ugh, I could do so much better. It has like odd amount of bars. And like some of the words are just a little like cheesy for me, but
Okay.
whatever.
You got it done.
Whatever.
in a
It got
week.
it done. And he's shredding on it. It's just fantastic.
Amazing.
Anyways, yeah. So
Okay, so then you just like decided you're going for it, nothing to lose, and then you're just. So why didn't Al produce it?
because I didn't know that you could have more than one producer or more than two
and you
producers.
already decided to do it with Christian.
And Kabir. Yeah.
Did they ever work together?
No, because the thing is, the producers don't have to. They don't have to all be doing the same thing at the same time.
Right.
They all hold different
Yeah.
candles that are equally as important. And so,
Do you feel like Christian is a good vocal producer?
well, I think Christian is an amazing cheerleader,
Yeah.
right?
That's good.
Like, I would never have played the piano
Yeah.
on my album
Yeah.
if he didn't say to me, "Why aren't you playing the piano on your album?"
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't know. I got Dave Cook, who's like incredible, and you know, Maya Kronfeld's going to play organ, and I don't really need to play." He's like, "Does Carole King not play piano on songs that she wrote? You wrote the whole
Yeah.
damn thing. Why are you not doing it?"
That's good.
So he really encouraged me. He's an amazing. But then that's why you
Person
have
to
other
on your side.
producers
Yeah.
that you're able to be like, okay, Christian is the most busy person on earth.
Yeah.
Who else can I send this to? Oh, my other
Right.
producers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you recorded in like a day or two?
2 days, 1 rehearsal
Where?
at Sound on Sound in Montclair.
Okay.
And
Who was engineering?
it was Dave Amlin was the engineer. And then I had Todd Whitelock be the mixing.
Yeah.
And Rich Lamb edited. And then Mike Piacentini did the remaster. Because I had it mastered. And then it just wasn't translating to what I was envisioning. So I had it remastered. And Mike
But
Piacentini.
you released it first with the first master? No.
No, I was holding on to it because I had gotten my heart broken because I was supposed to hopefully be on Christian's label.
Oh, really?
For a year, I was hopefully going to be a brother
He
mister.
said, like, we'll release it on my label. And then what happened?
And then, kind of like what I was talking about before, which I understand now, is that, you know, they didn't want to take a developing artist. And
Yeah. And Christian told you that himself, like, sorry, we can't do it?
he's not the one with the money. He's just the brilliant face of it, right? And they can only trust, but it's an investment as a business perspective from a label to take an artist,
Right.
And for them, if I don't have virality and I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers, that's a risk, and I understand that now. And at the time, I was like so brokenhearted because I was like, man, I'm still by myself. I'm still an indie. Like, I thought I did it all.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we just can't take you right now. We can
Who was
take you
on
later.
that label? Like
Huge.
big names?
Huge artists, yeah. Huge artists.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. You see the look I'm giving.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I got you.
Huge
Okay,
artists.
So now,
Yeah. But
so then you're like, okay, I'll figure out another way to release it. And then at that time, you decided to remaster it?
yes,
Mastering is so made a difference?
I think it made a huge difference because I was driving in a rental car in New Mexico on a
Yeah.
Shakespeare
I'm doing
and
mixing
jazz.
right now so I'm like totally in that headspace, and I'm like,
Send to me whatever. Like, I really want to
Okay, I
start
wanna-
producing more
yeah.
artists. Not, I mean, obviously you have
I'm
amazing
dying
producers.
to. I'm like, we're sitting and talking, and I'm waiting for after that I can.
I know you're gonna
show
show me.
Yeah, I know, because I need to like your advice.
No, I mean, I remember I was listening to there was nothing wrong with the other masters. It just wasn't what I had envisioned in my brain.
Can you say it in words? Because I'm very curious what that means.
So
what wasn't it?
I was listening in my car, right? And my car is like a pretty decent SUV, and it sounded good.
Yeah.
And then I went on tour with a different band, and the band leader said, I would love to hear your record.
So you put it on a car in New Mexico?
And it just sounded really flat. And I said, oh, it must be the rental car. But then he put on the Berkeley Indian Ensemble,
Yeah.
and it sounded amazing. And I was like, oh,
Shit.
it's me. So I went and got it remastered.
And you were sure it's not the mix, it was the master.
It could be either, because we did analog mixing for this record at Christian's suggestion.
Yeah.
And all of my vocals on that record are live. I was playing and singing live on How Love Begins. So there's so much tricky stuff about that record because I'm singing and playing. You play an instrument. And then, we're doing all the mixing analog, but like I still flew in vocals and I still hear pop production in my head. So we were really having this struggle with the dichotomy of like, how do we keep it sounding live and fresh and not perfect and jazz?
Yeah.
And how do we make it, still sonically flashy?
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's things that still I could have used, like people maybe helping me through that. But again, like I also produced it. So when you have amazing people working
For example,
with you,
I'm just in this world.
Yeah.
Did you use a lot of compression or non-compression on the vocals?
No, and I think, when I hear it live, like through a radio in like a venue or something, I'm like, it's not beefy enough. I would have beefed it up
With more compression.
Maybe compression, or maybe just like the entirety of it just felt like I wanted to have more weight.
Yeah.
But
whatever.
anyways.
But then the other mastering gave it more.
It did. It really did.
Sick.
Yeah, and so it's you can't be afraid to offend people, and
Exactly.
I still pay everyone that I work with. It's
of
not
course,
like
but
they
you have
give
to
me
be
something
happy
I don't
with
like.
it.
I'm like, okay, here's your money. Like I'm just gonna go try something else.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Perfect.
I feel like I'm rambling.
Okay, now I need to know. Let's talk again about the Grammys.
Okay.
And then a second, not about that record, but this year's Grammys, because I want to know what your take. But so, okay, we got how you did the album. You called your friends to play. I saw a lot of friends that I know, Maya and Gilad, and amazing people. And, so then the nominee came out of nowhere? Or you kind of knew people are voting for you? Or like, who are the people that vote?
That's the thing. There is no list.
It's like a lot of people.
Anybody that
How
you
did
know.
they know about you? Because you just released the album. You don't know exactly.
No, yeah, exactly. There is no master list. There are like communities of people who will claim that they're voters, but none of it has been vetted by the Academy as that, because you're not allowed to essentially like say I'm a voter. You know what I'm saying? But you could say like I accept listening submissions.
Yeah.
And what I love.
Did you send it to listening submissions?
Oh, I actively was like, who do I think would consider listening to my album?
Yeah.
And you can't ask, like, are you a voter?
Right.
Because that's up to the integrity and privacy of the person.
Yeah.
But,
you can send it to them, hey, it's my record, check it out. But how did you know who the people to send it to?
You don't. And then sometimes people will be like, oh, yeah, I also have an album.
Yeah.
And so it's
But generally, like, how did you come up with that list?
Well, so the first time I was nominated, when you're there,
Ah.
you're meeting people.
Okay, you just like met people and like, hey, it's my record. Check it out.
Yeah, it's like I remember I sent my album to I forgot, it was like somebody insanely famous that I had met trying to get a beer at the Grammys the first time we were there. I think it was like Kurt Elling.
Whoa.
Right? And because of that, I connected with him and his manager.
By the way, I have a story about him.
I would love to hear.
It's a tea, though.
I love tea.
I got it. I can't tell you who from, so that's okay.
That's fine.
But generally, I had Jesse Markowitz on the show. You know him? He does social media for a lot of jazz people, including Kurt.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I can work with him.
Yeah, he's a very sweet guy. He's like around shows all the time because he does the social media for like a lot of people, so he has to go to their shows all the time, and he's the sweetest guy. He also does social media for Smoke, so he's there many nights.
No kidding.
Yeah. When he did the radio show 2 weeks ago, he does like, for Sullivan and Fred Hurst, so he's going to all the shows all the time. Anyway, so he told Kurt Elling to make this album with Sullivan.
Oh, no, I told Kurt Elling to make that album with Sullivan.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone did?
No, that was my idea.
No, tell me now.
Yeah, I don't mind saying it.
When did you tell him that?
The Wildflowers?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I wanted to make an album
Yeah.
that was like blue powered, where we all got together and just like Kamala made Hope in 24 hours.
Yeah.
We got together and we all, got some of the best jazz singers all together and put out a record
Yeah.
and do it within 24 hours, just like Kamala kind of turned it around in 24 hours. So I called the management. And they're like, that's and they're like, that's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
And so they're like, let's talk it out with Kurt. And then, unfortunately, due to things, restrictions with everyone's schedule.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
That's what I'll say.
But then they did it with, wow, I'm shocked by this even more. Because what I was going to say, that I know that the reason they did it also in that time is because Cecile and Samara didn't release an album this year, so they knew that might not the Grammys won't go to them, so it's a good time to do another vocal album.
Well, that's what I had said.
Yeah,
I said we
yeah,
but no one will ever give me credit because I'm some sort of weird indie witch.
Yeah,
right. But I have a good business mind, and I had this idea first. But then what's so interesting is that no matter however you spin it, like I'm so glad that Kurt made that record with Sullivan. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that they got the nomination.
Yeah.
That's really great. However, people say weird things about the Grammys. They it's like when Donald Trump won. I said, well, are you going to double down on the fact that you think that the election is rigged, or is it only rigged when you don't win? Right? So for an indie to win, there's also these like weird things where people would have the audacity to say, well, that must be rigged because Nicole won against these big artists.
Right.
And they do a witch hunt against an indie artist. But this indie artist is always thinking and gave this idea.
Yeah.
And so, for example, right now within the Grammys, it's pretty wild to me that there's a traditional pop holiday album nominated within jazz.
Yeah.
That should
Which one?
The holiday, Samara's holiday record.
Yeah.
That should have been traditional pop.
Right.
Milton Esperanza, that should have been in Latin jazz.
Yeah. Why is it there?
But why will nobody say that
Because they're the darlings.
Because they are the darlings. And I am getting chills on my body because I know I will experience backlash. However, I will say this. That is the Trump way. Only if the darlings win, then the integrity is there. But if somebody else comes and says, I can play. Yeah. I can play. I'm worthy of playing.
How do you become a darling?
I don't know. You make beautiful music and people are touched by it and you become a darling. Like, I would love to be a darling, but maybe that's not in the cards for me. Yeah. But more importantly, it's just like it blows my mind that people do not understand that the integrity of the Grammys process is essential and incredible and unbeatable. Like it is peer voted recognition. The Academy is amazing. And so I'm incredibly proud to be part of the Recording Academy and have these recognitions bestowed upon me.
Wow. I'm kind of having chills.
I mean, the fact that you were saying the tea thing, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we might
no,
have to.
No, the tea was like to do it this year before the Grammy quick.
But that was my idea.
Oh, I'm shocked. Too many people claim that there's an idea.
And then they cut me out of it. So
your idea was to do it with them?
Oh, yeah.
So a few jazz singers do a quick album.
Right. And we would donate all the proceeds to the DNC.
That's amazing.
But it didn't work.
Do you still?
But they continue to do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I hope that there's. I mean, if Jesse is out here saying that stuff online, then I'm like, oh, then I could say.
Yeah. Oh, people should say.
You know.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away the fact that they made a beautiful record.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even upset.
No, I think by the way, Jesse doesn't claim he said the idea was his. He just said that Kurt should do it with Sullivan on piano. He's like.
No, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And like I don't know. I already feel we'll have to talk about this after.
Okay. Okay. Wow. What else do I want to tell you? We need to
I know you're like, oh God.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. I think both of you had a part in the idea because did you say have Sullivan play?
No, I had wanted to get amazing activists like Darastar Tucker, Aaron Myers from you know, the vocalist that I knew would be down to make a project that would, you know, if someone has the nerve to say that close to the Grammys to release a record within 24 hours and not say like I'm doing this to also hopefully bolster my career, but also I would also love to do something good for the world. That's what I was like, let's just do that.
Yeah. Do you think that still comes from the like business school mind, or just you have good ideas?
I've always had activism as part of my art.
Ah, okay.
So like Bianca Reimagined, the big band record.
Yeah.
That all proceeds of that go to shelter dogs. We've been doing rescue and rehabilitation of pit bulls for 14 years.
That's amazing.
And then How Love Begins benefited SaveTheSound.org. And then I had a mental health, crisis record called Hive Mind. And so activism goes really hand in hand.
What was the mental health thing?
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to draw attention to it. I had a song called Episodes on Hive Mind that was dedicated to my grandfather who had paranoid schizophrenia and lived with that for 60 years. Yeah. And so he lived with paranoid schizophrenia for 65 years. And so Hive Mind, I was like trying to draw attention to mental health because, we all got our things, right?
Yeah. Are you in therapy?
I was. I need to find a new therapist.
Why? What happened?
My therapist got mad at me.
What? Are they allowed?
I don't know. In September, because I didn't feel like doing therapy because it was so chaotic this year, and I just didn't feel like doing therapy that day because our dog was sick and she's been dying since May, and so I called her and I said, I really can't do this right now. Can you just say that we had the thing so you get paid so you're not being wasted?
Yeah.
She said, I don't believe in insurance fraud. And I was like, girl, you're talking to a jazz musician. Get away. Like, okay. And so she was like, we can either stay on or you have to pay me $150.
Yeah.
And I was like, then we're going to sit here in silence.
Yo.
So then I quit. So yeah, I definitely need some therapy.
Okay.
So I'm telling you all these crazy things.
Yeah.
Can you believe all the things that I know and that people do not acknowledge me in jazz? People are not running articles on me in Downbeat. They are not running.
You feel like even after the Grammys, you're not getting that?
Did you see anything?
Not enough. Can you tell me why?
Because people actually broke my heart and had the belief that perhaps there's a hole in the Grammys, which is based on integrity and a voting process, which is fully encapsulated within both technology and just the entire thing is bulletproof.
Yeah.
They really think that me, the independent artist, figured out a way to go around everyone, and the big labels didn't figure it out. Just me.
Yo.
And I cheated. Are you kidding me?
So that was the word, and then like it kind of
only in one little
down?
part. Only in one little part.
Yeah.
Of jazz. right?
Mm-hmm.
I call it the 1%.
Yeah.
Then there's the 99% of jazz. That's the working musician, the ones that have known me working my tail off since 2009. The one that have known me doing every genre and having spider webs in every genre for 14 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting so mad. I'm getting so mad.
Yo. Motherfuckers. Okay, wait. So, what is your takeaway? Like, what are you going to do?
Do you know that
what do you want to do now?
I haven't said anything about this.
Why?
Because I was like, it is not a good look to seem defensive. However, today I was nominated for 2 more Grammys.
Yeah.
As an indie who did the campaign herself.
Yeah.
You hear Dan?
Yeah.
And there is no longer anything for me to hide because I know that I am vetted by the Academy. I know
the Academy loves you.
The Academy.
You have to come back in 10 minutes or 15.
Babe, we're live on the radio.
Yeah.
You forgot that. Babe, it's live on the radio.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's excited because, he was nominated today.
I know. Wow. Congratulations to Dan Pugach.
Yeah, Pugach.
Yeah, Pugach. Okay. Anyway, so okay,
it's been a very traumatic but beautiful year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to know what's on the horizon for you.
Now
there's the new nominations, which is super exciting. But do you have to do anything between now and February? Are you gonna do a campaign?
I again have to just try and get people to listen.
Yeah. So you sit on. What's your day to day like? You sit on your email and send people your records, and do you practice and write and how do you manage your days really?
So I already wrote my new album. It's called The Devil I Knew.
Okay.
And then
when did you write that? After the Grammys?
Just within the last 2 years. Because How Love Begins, I finished writing that in 2022.
Right. Okay,
so that's 2 years later.
Let's write new songs.
I got it, yeah. So
and you're not you're writing songs. You don't want to make a covers album or stuff.
I have a covers album coming out.
Ah, okay.
Sorry. So ridiculous. It's called Siren Songs.
Yeah.
That comes out in January.
Yeah.
And it's just a passion project of women songwriters that I love.
Which one?
I got there's a Billie Eilish song.
Sick.
There's Joni Mitchell, Bobby Gantry.
Which Billie Eilish?
I Love You.
Okay.
That just came out today, actually.
Ah, whoa. How did you know that?
La Reserve put it out today.
Ah, the album that you made came out. Ah,
no,
the song.
just the song. Woo! I Love You. Yeah.
Congratulations. We'll listen to it later.
I sound crazy with the amount of things that are happening.
Yeah. What made you do this record? Just for fun?
Yeah.
I'm asking because I know that La Reserve sometimes put people on a release schedule, and then you have to come up with something till in a great way. But I think it's so cool. But I wonder if that made your schedule what it is, or you're just I'm dying to make another record.
No, I love working with La Reserve because they're the way that they release music.
I just sent them my record this week. I hope they'll.
I hope that they do.
Yeah.
They will love it.
I
think they'll love it.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
I love that. So La Reserve is not afraid to treat jazz just like pop music.
Right.
And people who do not want to treat jazz like pop music will never fully, crack this terrifyingly horrible system that we have of streaming.
Right.
And that is that you have to feed the machine.
Mm-hmm.
I call Siren Songs my algorithm project.
Exactly.
Right? So I put out How Love Begins Deluxe in September, and now it's, November 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And my algorithm, whether we like it or not, is going to sleep. So I have to feed it. I have to feed the monster. I have to feed the machine.
So you're going to do 2 singles and then an album? What's the next single?
The next single will be Brand New Key by Melanie.
Okay.
Melanie Safka.
Okay, wow. I don't even know that.
I toured with her for 2 years.
Sick.
Yeah, she was a Woodstock legend.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this.
It's crazy.
So how you recorded it similar way, with a band in a studio?
Oh, no, this one I did
here
at NYU where I teach. I'm a professor at NYU.
Sick. What do you teach?
I teach contemporary vocal
Wow.
Yeah.
So wait, we talked about so you go to the city every week to do that?
Yep, every Wednesday.
Wow. I love that.
Oh, man. I feel...
That's new? Or how long have you been teaching there?
2 years.
Amazing.
Ever since I got my MBA.
Wow. That was also on the list, become a professor?
Well, that's why I got the MBA, because...
you wanted to be a professor? Okay.
Because I was like, what else am I going to do? No,
What
music's not really
else
working.
was on the list?
What else? I can tell you what I did not
I want to
achieve
hear
yet.
what you didn't achieve.
I still would like a big publishing deal.
Okay.
I have publishing deal offers, but they're for my current catalog. I'd like a publishing deal, advance.
Okay.
Because I work really well with direction, and
so you want to be writing with and for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want people to sing my music. So the next project is going to be, I'm putting out a book, which you need to submit to.
Okay.
Of living jazz singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
The new vocal songbook.
Yeah.
With a recording that will come as well.
Wait, I'm confused. It's a book of
of all people that we know and love who are writing music that are alive.
Like, let's say I'm writing a song, you're going to put it on the book?
If it fits the criteria. And so the criteria is that I'm not looking for modern jazz vocal compositions.
Yeah.
That's different. That's like a certain type.
Pop. Or like singer-songwriter.
Singer-songwriter, yeah. So what I think has been kind of lost or maybe slept on in jazz songwriting is that kind of pop sensibility, the earworm, the clear story, the clear song form, rhyme scheme.
So you're making a book and with a record of those songs?
Well, probably a record of 10 to 14 of them.
Yeah.
And my goal, which is very lofty, is 50 living jazz songwriters.
Wow. But only 10 or 14 will make it to the record, and it will be a record of different singers?
Yeah, or this is the one part that I haven't fully... I just started the business plan for this.
Wow.
But this one I haven't mapped out because I'm like, how do I make it cohesive?
So you put business plans on everything? Yeah, let's do a business plan here, business plan there? Yes. Wow, it's so fun.
It's so This is all because I needed to survive. None of this is because...
No, I can tell, which is really cool. I think that's
it's all just how do I move forward? Because I definitely suffer from mental health, right? I have anxiety. I can be depressed. I definitely have PMDD. So the week before my period, I right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever would have said all those ridiculous things that I just said about the tea if it wasn't for I am highly charged right now. And I live my life at an 11 when I should be at a 6. But when I was on Prozac, I lived my life at a 5 and I had no goals.
Shit.
So I prefer the crazy.
You're anti
I'm not anti.
You just think
I just have to find the right one for me.
Yeah.
And I'm too afraid because my brain has been, going so quickly and it's been working.
Yeah.
That I'm terrified to take a medication. That does not mean that I'm anti. I'm 100%. I'm please God, someone find a medication that helps me. Because I am always blah, 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 blah,
right.
It never ends. It never ends.
But do you need sometimes people go really down?
I have been really down.
And then the medication, I think, is really helpful. Yes. When you're high and stuff, it's fun.
Yeah. Exactly. Do you take it?
I don't take it, but I know people that do.
Yeah. I don't know. I went off it during the pandemic because we were wanting to have a family.
Yeah.
And then I had something called a threatened miscarriage.
Yeah.
Which means that the embryo detaches, and then unless you go on bed rest, you're gonna lose the baby.
Yeah.
And I was at that point touring like crazy, so I was well, I'm not gonna have this baby, and I guess this isn't right for me.
Yeah.
So I was really sad about that and put it on the shelf. But I had also gone off meds.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to have a family.
Yeah. And so most meds don't work with that, right?
Actually, Prozac would have been fine. But
yeah.
When you have anxiety, you assume everything is wrong.
Right. But briefly, we talked about... So since then, you don't want to have a family anymore?
Well, now we're going to freeze our eggs.
I know. That's exciting.
We're freezing the
eggs. You should do embryos, by the way.
We're freezing embryos. Yeah.
Don't waste your time
in
with
2
eggs.
weeks.
Oh, my God. Wait, so you after this period that's coming, wow, what do we don't know about you right now?
This is the most exposing, awful.
Yeah. So after this period soon, you're going to start doing the injections and the thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fun ride. I mean, most people are scared of it, but I had a blast, I have to tell you. It's kind of like extra
Did it hurt too
ovulation.
much?
No, it's fun.
I love you for this because I was
I mean,
watching all the
some people are
videos
not
going,
like
this
that.
kind of freaks me out.
I actually had a really beautiful time. First of all, it's nice if you have some time off so you can treat it as like 2 weeks of like taking it easy and like kind of being connected to your body, blah, blah, blah.
I love that. Not drinking.
But yeah, not drinking, being chill. You can drink a little. But
Okay.
no, like it's not like don't touch alcohol. It's like, you know, half a glass of wine here and there is fine.
Amazing.
If you really want to, it's cool. But generally, it's really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like it's connecting you to your body and to the whole thing, and probably you'll know more what you want after that because you'll kind of know where you are. I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, and it's a wild thing. We decided that we will donate the embryos after.
Okay.
We
If you don't use them.
yeah. Dan and I were both like, I don't mind if there's a little us running around
Yeah.
somewhere as long as it makes
That's a
somebody
nice
else's
thing.
life better.
Yeah.
Just if we don't decide to do it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's something I didn't ask you because
So.
it's on my mind. I feel like we didn't talk about the original composition record you're doing, but actually we don't have time. So maybe we should play a song and talk about it later.
Yes, let's do that.
And
Okay,
we'll have
good.
you back sometime
We'll have
because
to come back since
Yeah.
apparently I'm an oversharer.
it's true. It's the best kind of chats. Okay. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today to our special episode with Nicole Zuraitis.
Yes,
good?
Dida. So
Right.
great to chat with you. You
So
should
fun.
you should do this all the time because you have an uncanny ability to get people to open up to you, to say
Really?
things because you look at them. I feel like you really look at me as opposed to like thinking about your agenda. I feel like you're actually listening, which is a beautiful
It's
gift.
true. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I love doing this. And it's kind of really fun to be here in this different space.
Mm.
Makes it, I don't know, I feel like I'm even more present. Okay, should we play a beautiful
Yeah.
song? I love that song.
Me too. It's
I don't
so
know why,
cute.
but it's nice. What version do you like of it? You don't have to say unless something comes to mind.
I know it's not Blossom, but there's like a really cute like up
Mm.
version that I fell in love with. I have this in my Siren Songs project
Ah, really?
because it's
Why?
it's
Who
written by
wrote it?
Dorothy. Is it Dorothy McHugh?
I want to hear it. Did you get the same like team?
Hold on. Exactly like you, composer. We actually recorded this for Siren Songs. I don't have any internet.
I'll just have to tell you about the projects.
Yes.
With women. I think we're both very. How do you know Hebrew or no?
Only a little bit.
Anyway, I think we're both like gonna really be supportive of each other and not feel like we're stealing each other ideas or anything
Never.
like that. But I have a similar idea that for years that I do like. I don't know if you know about the Lost Women of Song.
That's even better
Why?
because those are the ones that aren't famous.
Right. So I
That's
had
the
a
ones that
project
need to
I
be
used to
lifted.
play every month at Barbez and play song. I don't know if you know them, but like Connie Converse, Molly Drake, like composer that didn't have a career.
Yeah, that's
and
what you should
I
do.
used to do a show, but I haven't recorded it yet.
You should throw Laura Nero in there, even though
Who's that?
she exactly.
That's great. Yeah, we can talk about it later, and you'll help me develop and maybe make a business plan.
Yeah, it's Jimmy McHugh and Dorothy Fields. Dorothy Fields was
Amazing.
the lyricist.
Okay, so we're going to do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like Nina Simone's version. Thank
Okay,
you
let's
for
do it.
but
You-
whatever,
you
we'll
start.
do our version. Okay, we're going to do it medium because I can't really play fast.
Okay. Amazing. I know why I've waited. Know why I've been blue. Prayed each night for someone exactly like you. Why should we spend money on a show for two? No one does these love songs dreams, exactly like you. You make me feel so glad. I want to share the world with you. Yeah. You make me understand each foolish little scheme I'm scheming, dream I'm dreaming. Now I know why my mother taught me to be true. She asked me to find somebody like you.
I know I waited. Oh, I know I've been blue. I've been waiting each night for someone exactly like you. Why should we spend any money on a show or two? No one does those love scenes exactly like you. Together?
Yeah.
You make me feel
So glad.
that's right. I wanna hand the world to you.
Wanna hand the world to you.
You seem to understand the foolish little dreams that I'm dreaming.
Foolish little dreams.
And the scheme that I'm scheming. Now I know I'm my mama.
I know my mama.
She taught me to be true.
Taught me to be true.
She meant me for someone.
Someone.
She meant me for someone.
Yeah. Oh, exactly like you. She asked me to find
someone like you.
Like you.
Yay!
That was so fun.
It was the best. Wow.
This was so
Nicole,
fun.
thank you so much.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure.
This is so fun. Everyone, please listen to Nicole's new single. I love you.
Yeah.
And I really hope you get the Grammys.
Nicole Z
Congratulations.
Music to see all the
yes,
craziness.
Nicole Z Music. You can find Nicole on all the things. Are you Nicole Z on Spotify?
Nah, Nicole
yeah.
Zuraitis, Zuraitis.
Yeah.
But Nicole Z Music on Instagram or .com, you'll be able to find me quicker.
Exactly. So we'll do that. And thank you so much.
Thank you, honey.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye.